You're welcome to Ogtv News. I am Mojisola Shulaja. Our top stories. Ogun State government takes steps towards eradicating sickle cell disease among children. Federal government seeks U.S. assistance to improve creative and culture industry. Navy EFCC rejects Senate bill to criminalize payment of ransom to kidnappers. France, European allies announce military withdrawal from Mali. When you reach the end of your rope, tie a knot in it and hang on.
And coming up on the business segment of the news, Nigeria orders to benefit from EU's 6 billion euros satellite-based investment. Details of business stories when I return. My name is Adebola Oshomoji.
And coming up from the world of sport, Australia's Victoria State in talks to host 2026 Commonwealth Games. Details when I return. I am Emmanuel Dasalu. Do stay with us.
The Ogun State government says prevention, low-cost diagnosis and treatment of sickle cell disease will contribute to a drastic reduction in under-5 mortality in the state. The State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Tomikoka, stated this during a 2-day training of health workers on comprehensive newborn screening program for sickle cell disorders organized by the Ministry of Health in Abeokuta. Governor's Office correspondent Yusuf Ganiu reports.
According to statistics, Nigeria has the highest number of cases of sickle cell disease, which is the #1 cause of infant death in the country. An estimation of 150 babies are born annually with sickle cell disease. Sickle cell disease is a hereditary disorder that leads to death of 70% to 90% of infants before the age of 5. Only a small portion of affected infants and children in sub-Saharan Africa reach adolescence due to the gaps in the health system, especially from sickle cell disease. This workshop for health workers on comprehensive newborn screening for sickle cell disease in Ogun State is to cross-examine and to ensure the populace that are being born with genetic disease are not a death sentence. This is because 70% of deaths from the disease could be prevented with a low cost of diagnostic and treatment plan. The State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Tomikoka, said that the current administration's consistent investment in the health sector will contribute to a significant reduction in the incidence of sickle cell disease.
We are fortunate in Ogun State as our statistics for infant mortality sits at about 19 in 1,000. But you will agree with me that although it is good, it is not good enough. No child should die of a preventable disease.
The Commissioner said that the workshop is the first comprehensive newborn screening for sickle cell disease program in the state and part of government strategies to reduce mortality. While appreciating the state government for prioritizing the health of its people, the workshop facilitator, Professor Nora Akinola, described the program as a landmark event in southwest Nigeria that will end the tears of many mothers and families in the states.
This program has come to help wipe away the tears in the eyes of many mothers and many families. Because you cannot predict the inheritance of sickle cell disease. Because I am an AS, that is I'm a tray, I'm a carrier of the S gene, and I marry another carrier unknowingly, it can cause all our children to have sickle cell disease.
Some participants speak on the importance of the program.
But with this program now, we'll be able to screen as many as possible. We'll be able to give counsel to the parents on what to do to prevent such things from happening.
So all we are interested in is bringing down this high level of infant mortality to at least a single digit, which is part of the cardinal agenda of the state.
The workshop also focused on reorientation of health professionals on the current trends for effective healthcare delivery in the states. Yusuf Ganiyu, Ogtv News.
The current administration in Ogun State has been commended for the construction work going on in Aton Agbara Road, as this will improve socio-economic development and improve business activities in the area and the entire nation. Residents and commuters in the area gave this commendation in an interview with Ogtv News crew on the ongoing road project. Tunde Olaniro reports.
To say that the road leading to Agbara, the industrial capital, so to speak, of the entire country, is in a deplorable state is an understatement. It's a harrowing experience, not only for those that are doing business here, but even the residents of this place are not finding it very easy. But now, they can now heave a sigh of relief as the current administration in Ogun State is reconstructing, as a matter of fact, the Aton Lusada Agbara Road. This will ease doing business in Ogun State, and it will also bring a sigh of relief to residents living in this area.
This is a promise-keeping administration. In the course of my campaign, I came here. I met the youths. I met the KBACs. I met the buyers. I met the market women. And I made a promise to them. If you vote me in as your next governor, I will come back here to thank you, but I will not just thank you by word of mouth. I will thank you by reconstructing this road. Your administration has constructed over 172 kilometers of roads.
The visit of Ogtv News crew to Lusada Aton Agbara Road showed that work is going on at an impressive pace. The road project is born out of the commitment of the current administration in the state to turn the push factor to pull factor, which will improve individual prosperity of the people. The road project is expected to be completed by the end of the year 2022.
Actually, end of this December, we must finish this. According to the Ogun State, 19 kilometer. We have so far 19 kilometer. 19 kilometer.
The residents of the area were obviously elated and can't wait to see the road fully completed.
When this road is completed, there will be socio-economic development in this area. This is why we are supporting the current administration in the state.
We
appreciate the governor for his intervention and for remembering us. We hope for speedy and timely completion of the project.
The road construction will not only provide infrastructure to the community, but is also a source of direct and indirect jobs for the people of the area. Tunde Olaniro, Ogtv News.
Ogun State House of Assembly has passed a resolution directing the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Physical Planning and Urban Development, to, as a matter of urgency, order the appropriate department responsible for the processing of building approval to process and issue building approval to Polysmart Packaging Limited within 15 working days from the passage. The directive came as a result of recommendations made by the Committee on Justice and Public Petitions, chaired by Honorable Solomon Osho, who read the report of the committee on a petition filed by Polysmart Packaging Limited against Springtime Development Foundation and two others at a plenary held at the Assembly Complex, Okemoson, Abeokuta. Kolawole Osho's report is presented in this package.
The passage of the resolution followed a motion moved by the majority leader, Honorable Sheriff Yusuf, seconded by the Chief Whip, Honorable Atinoke Bello, shortly after the presentation of the report of the House Committee on Justice, Ethics and Public Petitions by its chairman, Honorable Solomon Osho, who thereafter moved the motion for its adoption, seconded by Honorable Damilola Shuneye and supported by other lawmakers. The Assembly equally noted from its findings and observation that Polysmart Company had satisfied all requirements as confirmed by the representative of the ministry, in addition to a series of documentary evidence which included the CFO signed by Governor Dapo Abiodun as presented before the lawmakers by the company's representative. This was just as the Assembly also called on the Office of the Special Advisor, Director General, Bureau of Lands and Survey, to appropriately reconcile the issue of unregistered certificate of occupancy allegedly issued to Springtime Development Foundation in 2007 upon the payment of all required payments and documentations. To the committee, this is an action that has evidently resulted to huge loss of returns on investment to the petitioner and also depriving the innocent youths of Ogun State access to gainful employment.
As a matter of urgency, should immediately direct the department responsible for the processing of bidding approval to process and issue same to the petitioner within 15 working days, counting from the day the House adopts the recommendation.
In another development, members of the Ogun State House of Assembly have commended Governor Dapo Abiodun's infrastructure development initiative in all senatorial districts of the state. Honorable Jemili Akingbade, representing Imekwa from State Constituency, his counterpart from Shagamu State Constituency 1, Honorable Bashir Abdul, and that of Abeokuta South State Constituency 1, Honorable Yusuf Adejoju, gave this commendation while speaking with journalists immediately after the plenary.
The governor has executed a project across the 10 wards in Imekwa from local government. There is no single ward that you go there, you not seen the state project, of which myself also compliment in terms of borehole, but construction of.
In my local government as a whole, I know what it has done the last 3 years in terms of road infrastructure, health aspects, even the fire service station in Shagamu local government has been rehabilitated.
In my constituency, they've done the road, Light Road to Okelan Toro, Kenta Shomori Road. You know, in housing projects, they've done Prince Court Estate, the likes of Adigbe as well in Abeokuta South. And I can tell you that the quality of the road, they are modern standard.
They however called on the state government not to forget other areas yet to be touched.
And still to come, Navy, EFCC reject Senate's bill to criminalize payment of ransom to kidnappers. We will give you the details after this timeout. You're still watching Ogtv News. Nigeria is to strengthen its collaboration with the United States in order to upscale its creative industry. This formed the kernel of discussion between the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, and the U.S. Deputy Secretary of State for African Affairs, Akuna Cook, when she paid a courtesy visit to the minister in Abuja. The minister disclosed that the new Nigeria creative industry was contributing immensely to the nation's economy, and Nigeria will benefit more through the collaboration with the United States.
Is how to continue to improve the quality of our films. As you know, Nollywood, as our film industry is known, is among the top 3 in the world. Yes, the quality of our films have improved incrementally over the years, but we can still benefit from the rich experience of America's Hollywood, the undisputed world best.
On digitization, he explained the stride Nigeria has taken so far to show that it was not lagging behind, especially in broadcasting. Lai Mohammed used the opportunity to explain to his guest how government was working hard to sanitize the media space for a wholesome content. The U.S. Envoy for African Affairs, Akina Cook, on her part, said she was impressed with Nigeria and called for more content that could project the uniqueness of Africa and its abundant opportunities. She equally pushed for the investment in human capital with elections beckoning in Nigeria. Cook called for a liberal media space to propel a successful election. The National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, has conducted the personal parade for 2,435 Batch A Stream 1 Corps members in Ogun State. The outgoing Corps members during the parade were charged by dignitaries to extol the ideals of hard work, resilience, teamwork, and discipline embedded in them for the next phase of life. Ife Sholuade covered the event held at the MKO Abiola International Stadium, Kuto, Abeokuta. His reports.
After its 49th year of creation, the National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, has remained a viable and potent instrument of grassroots-oriented development. This was brought to the fore with 2,425 corps members in Ogun State diligently and selflessly completing their 12 months of mandatory service to their fatherland. Governor of Ogun State, Prince Dakwa Abiodun, was represented by his Commissioner for Youth and Sports, Dr. Dari Kende, commended the exiting corps members for exhibiting true acts of patriotism while promising that the state will continue to focus on youth-oriented programs.
On behalf of the entire people of Ogun State, I appreciate your selfless service to our dear state. This has contributed in no small measure to the continued and successful implementation of Building Our Future Together agenda. Let me assure you that Ogun State will continue to provide enabling environment for the promotion of ideas of the scheme. Particularly, our administration will not relent on its resolve to focus on youth-oriented and development programs. Among other things, we have continued to ensure prompt response to infrastructure, logistics, and utility needs to the NYSC within the limited limit of our resources.
The state NYSC coordinator, Dr. Mrs. Belinda Ameze Fani, in our farewell message, admonished them to continually display the spirit of humility, dedication, and service to humanity wherever they find themselves.
It is to this end that I advise you all to continue with and grow whatever skills you have acquired through the NYSC Skills Acquisition and Entrepreneurship Development Initiative, SAID. You will utilize the right idea and skills acquired to create wealth and job opportunities for yourself and others.
In her usual practice, certificates of commendation were presented to some outstanding corps members who carried out exemplary activities at their various places of primary assignments.
I'm really excited to be one of them because I really appreciate the fact the youths are being recognized for this kind of efforts.
I just consider myself a channel that God used to be able to bring development to the people of Legua. And sincerely, it wouldn't have been possible if people did not give. So I want to use this opportunity to also say a very big thank you to everyone that has given towards it, for their support and for making Legua enjoy water in a very accessible way.
The state NYSC boss, while appreciating the government, stakeholders and staff of the scheme, also seized the medium to plead for more infrastructural support needed at the state NYSC camp in Shagamu. Ife Sholuade, Ogtv News.
The Academic Staff Union of Polytechnics, ASUP, has asked its members to be ready to stop work at any time when the need arises. National President of ASUP, Mr. Anderson Mezurike Ezebe, who gave the hint while addressing members of the union at Hussein Adamu Federal Polytechnic, Kazare, Jigawa State, accused the federal government of reneging on some parts of the agreement it reached with the union in June last year. This is coming a few days after the Academic Staff Union of Universities embarked on a 4-week warning strike. He said the ASUP had suspended its industrial action on June 10, 2021, based on agreement it reached with the federal government. Anderson explained that part of the agreement include the release of 15 billion naira for the revitalization of polytechnics and monotechnics, among others. He said since when the agreement was reached, the federal government has fulfilled some, while others have not been achieved. He noted that the NEC would take its possible decision on its next meeting to hold in March in Adamawa State. Air Force Military School and Air Force Girls Military School, JOS, have commenced online registration for Common Entrance Examination into JS1 for the 2022-2023 academic session. The online registration portal was opened on 31st January 2022 and closes on 1st April 2022. A statement from the Permanent Secretary, Bureau of Cabinet and Special Services, I.O. Saka, enjoined interested applicants to purchase scratch cards and past question booklets at the cost of 1,500 500 naira and 400 naira only, adding that they are to make use of the information contained on the scratch card to complete their online registration. The statement adds that copies of the scratch cards and past question booklets are available for sale at the Bureau of Cabinet and Special Services, Governor's Office, Okemoso, Abeokuta. In order to reduce to its barest minimum the moral decadence among youth, there is need to encourage extracurricular activities and societies in schools. This informed the advocacy visit of the Ogun State Scout Executive, led by its Commissioner Adeni Lee, to Ogun State Television, seeking collaboration between the media organization and the group in propagating its activities.
We envisage that the publicity will be more intensified, and the youth on the street will know that social ills is wrong. Drug abuse is wrong. Ritual killing is wrong. Unordinate money finding is wrong. Service to others is good. Service to themselves and service to the community should be upheld.
The group also solicited for government support at reviving scouting activities in schools.
Policymakers to know that there's a need for us to return scouting back to school in a compulsory manner. So scouting is voluntary, but I remember in those days, every time we have co-curricular activity in school, people have opportunity to go and do scouting, do some money training, but these are not there again. So we need to go back to that. Then the school authority should also enlist the interest of a teacher that will be interested to go for scout training and then be able to go back and then train the scouts. And then the parents will also be ready to also support their children to get the scout kit. It's not too expensive, because what you benefit by having your children scouting is more than what money can buy. We know what we have in our society today. Value system has actually gone down. We have moral decadence. So scouting, we want to say, is the only antidote to change the so that the future can be better for us as Nigerians.
General Manager of State Television, Mr. Tunde Kasim, assured of the station's support in giving the club's activities adequate reportage. The general grand finale of the movement's week-long anniversary celebration comes up on Tuesday, 22nd of February 2022. The Chief Executive Officer, Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Milikari, has assured the House of Representatives Committee on Petroleum, Downstream and Nigerians that measures have been put in place to accelerate fuel supply and distribution in the country. He gave the assurance at an engagement with the committee on the current fuel situation in the country. He said the company had placed significant orders of more than 2.1 billion liters of methanol-free petrol to ensure the queue vanish in a few days. He pledged that the NNPC will cooperate with the committee and the Nigeria Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority to get to the root of the matter. The CEO expressed deep empathy with Nigerians on the current situation and gave assurance that adequate measures have been put in place to maintain sufficient supplies and prevent future occurrence. The Chairman, House of Representatives Committee on Petroleum Downstream, Abdullahi Mahmood, assured Nigerians that the committee would handle the companies which imported adulterated premium motor spirits into the country. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority on Thursday deployed 7 ad hoc surveillance teams to monitor petrol stations across Lagos State. The Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Agency also confirmed that 37 million liters of premium motor spirit was trucked out with 885 trucks to the stations on Wednesday. Reports have it that Mr. Ayoride Kadoso, the Zonal Operations Controller, NMDPRA Lagos, made this known when he led a surveillance team to some petroleum products retail outlets across the state. Kadoso assured that normalcy will soon be restored in the state on the fuel situation, with efforts being made by all stakeholders in the downstream sector. He said the monitoring team was checking the availability of products in the outlets as well as the product quality to prevent infusion of any contaminated PMS, which had been quarantined by the authorities. Cardoso said the officials were also checking for hoarding of products by marketers, stressing that any marketer caught engaging in such activity will be penalized. The Senate is reaffirming its commitment to enacting people-oriented legislation which will bring about dividends of democracy. The President of the Senate, Hamid Lawan, said this at a one-day public hearing on several bills bordering on justice and security. The search for solutions to national challenges continues, with the Senate holding public hearing on the bills.
They are geared towards increasing the capacity of the justice system, which is the basis for the stabilization of our democracy, leading to good governance and progress.
The committee resolved to conduct a public hearing in order to collate inputs from stakeholders, which will form the bedrock of its recommendations to the Senate.
We hope that all of us that are seated here today will be able to give our utmost best.
Then is the bill to amend the Terrorism Prevention Act, bills to establish adoption and wrongful restriction and confinement for Ransom Act, a bill to establish witness protection and management framework and to amend administration of criminal justice, as well as the one to amend the one of Court of Appeal Act.
Is the number of justices of the Court of Appeal from 90 to 110, as stated. The Air Forces of the bill view that this is a great step for the judiciary.
Witness Protection and Management Framework Establishment Bill 2022, we also support the bill.
The Institute considered all the 7 bills. We disagreed with some of the sections proposed.
The passage of these bills is expected to strengthen the judicial and anti-corruption group. Odogbolu local government in Ogun State has sworn in its political office holders comprising the secretary to the local government, supervisors, advisors, and consultants in a bid to give priority to the welfare of residents of the local government and ensure equity in governance. Margaret Okunola reports that the epoch-making event had in attendance state functionaries, notable dignitaries, party stalwarts, and community leaders who enjoined the new appointees to work diligently in line with the mantra of building our future together agenda. Her report.
I'm Honorable Yetunde Adesanya. Yes, I am. What did you see then that made you?
Our sincere apologies for the mix-up. Moving to other stories, the Police Service Commission says embattled Deputy Commissioner of Police Abakari remains suspended and not dismissed from the Nigeria Police Force. This was contained in a statement on Thursday by the Commission spokesman Ike Chukwuani. The Police Commission also suspended cops of the Intelligence Response Team who were indicted with Kyari in alleged drug trafficking and related offenses. The suspended police officers are Assistant Commissioner of Police Sunday Ubua and Assistant Superintendent of Police James Bauer. Also, the Inspector General of Police Usman Baba was requested to suspend Inspector Simon Agriba and Inspector John Nuhu with immediate effect. There have been calls for the dismissal of Kyari, who was indicted by the NDLEA over alleged drug links while on suspension following his alleged role in a $1 million scam allegedly perpetrated by internet fraudster Ramon Abbas, also known as Oshpopi, and 5 others. But the PSC on Thursday said Kyari remains suspended until the conclusion of investigations. The Navy and Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, have rejected the proposed criminalization of ransom payment to abductors, terrorists, and kidnappers. A representative of the Chief of Naval Staff, Rear Admiral Ogtv, spoke at the National Assembly, Abuja, during a public hearing on the Terrorism Prevention Act Amendment Bill 2021, which seeks to outlaw payment of ransom to secure the release of captives. The hearing was organized by the Senate Joint Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters and Anti-Corruption and Financial Crimes, chaired by Senator Okpayemi Bamidele. Section 14 of the bill provides that anyone who transfers funds, makes payment, or colludes with an abductor, kidnapper, or terrorist to receive any ransom for the release of any person who has been wrongfully confined, imprisoned, or kidnapped is guilty of a felony and is liable on conviction to a term of imprisonment of not less than 15 years. Ogtv, however, said instead of outright criminalization, negotiation or payment of ransom should be subjected to security vetting. It's time to bring you business news.
So the business segment of the news. The federal government has refuted claims of imminent sugar scarcity in Nigeria and stressed that there was also no reduction in the production of the commodity. It warned operators in the sector to desist from making unnecessary propaganda capable of distorting the progress being recorded in Nigeria's sugar production industry. In an advertorial published on Monday, BUA Foods PLC had alleged that Flour Mills of Nigeria PLC suspended sugar sales because the 2022 raw sugar allocation had been declined by the government. Flour Mills had since debunked by the claim. Reacting to this in Abuja at the public presentation of the approved 2022 presidential raw sugar quota allocations to representatives of refineries in the sector, the Executive Secretary, National Sugar Development Council, Zach Adedeji, warned operators to stop raising false alarm. The federal government has approved over 1.1 trillion naira for the procurement of maintenance materials for the Ibadan-Kano standard gauge and the Port Harcourt-Maiduguri narrow gauge rail lines. The amount also includes printing contracts by the National Examination Council for the 2022 Senior School Certificate Examination. The Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, and his counterpart in the Ministry of Education, Adamu, revealed this to State House correspondent after the weekly Federal Executive Council meeting presided over by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo at the Council Chambers of the Presidential Villa, Abuja. He stated that an approval was given for the procurement of rolling stocks operational maintenance equipment for the newly railway project corridors in Ibadan to Kano standard gauge and Port Harcourt to Maiduguri narrow gauge rail lines to the tune of over 1.1 trillion naira, including 7.5% tax. Between January and December 2021, the Nigerian banking sector's credit to the private sector rose by 5.1 trillion naira, or 16.6%, according to data obtained from the Central Bank of Nigeria. This was contained in the money and credit statistics released by the regulator. The report showed that the credit to the private sector stood at 30.6 trillion naira during the first month of 2021. The data, however, put credit to the private sector at 35.7 trillion naira by December of last year, indicating a 5.1 trillion naira increase. A close analysis of the monthly credit value shows a continuous increase throughout the year, except for the February when credit to the sector dropped by 100 billion naira. In February, the figure fell to 30.5 trillion naira from the 30.6 trillion naira recorded in January. However, bank lending to the private sector rose to 31.4 trillion naira in March, further to 31.9 trillion naira in April, 32.1 trillion naira in May, and 32.6 trillion naira in June. The Minister of Power, Abubakar Aliyu, has disclosed that The federal government is to engage state governors to address problems associated with right-of-way in states that have been delaying power projects across the country. According to him, the federal government was planning to engage the governors through their forum in order to address the problem and ensure the timely completion of power projects. A statement issued in Abuja by the Federal Ministry of Power stated that the minister disclosed the government's plan while receiving the leadership of a co-electricity distribution company. He noted that the government was taking inventory of all the right-of-way challenges nationwide and assured his guests that the issue shall be addressed. The European Union EU had laid out proposals for a €6 billion spaced by secure communication system that will ensure the long-term availability of worldwide uninterrupted access to secure and cost-effective satellite communication services. The communication service is also expected to allow for provision of commercial services by the private sector that can enable access to advanced, reliable and fast connections to citizens and business across Europe. The system would also provide broadband connectivity across Africa and in the Arctic Circle. The EU estimated the total cost of the planned network will be €6 billion, with the EU to pitch in €2.4 billion between 2022 and 2027, with the rest coming from member states, the European Space Agency and private sector investors. The EU noted in a report that in today's digital world, space-based connectivity is a strategic asset for EU's resilience because it enables economic power, digital leadership, and technological sovereignty, competitiveness, and social societal progress. 1 month after the introduction of the Vehicle Identification Number (VIN) valuation system, freight forwarders added 2 major roll-on-roll-off terminals in Nigeria. Tinkan Island Port and the PTML terminal have issued a 72-hour industrial action notice to the Nigeria Customs Service (NCS) over failure of the new valuation system to generate accurate value payable on imported cars. The Information and Communication Technology (ICT) Modernization Unit of the Nigeria Customs Service had, in line with the federal government policy on ease of doing businesses, in January unveiled the VIN valuation system that uses artificial intelligence to allocate appropriate values and taxes payable on imported vehicles. The freight forwarders, at a meeting held at the PTML terminal, lamented that hundreds of cars are now stranded at the port due to failure of the new customs valuation system to generate accurate and value payable on imported cars. And that was business news. Back to Mojisola for the rest of our news.
Thank you so much, Adebola. It's now time to bring you foreign news. France and its allies in the European force will withdraw their troops from Mali after almost a decade, President Emmanuel Macron has announced. More than 100 people have died in landslides and flash flooding in the Brazilian city of Petropolis. Also, Russia's claim that it is moving troops away from Ukraine's border is false, according to a senior White House official who added that 7,000 extra troops have arrived in recent days.